Hello, it's Elizabeth, and someone asked me how I made this pocket, this basket that I showed on my Technique Tuesday in JJ with Joy, and so I am going to show you how I made it. I took a plain brown envelope, and this one folds. This one has this kind of closure, but you could use any kind of closure you wanted. You could also use a couple of brown pieces of paper. It doesn't have to be an envelope. Although being an envelope, you've got the two sides evenly even. The first thing I did was to round the corner. And that's a pretty simple thing to do. If you want that to be exactly the same on each side, you can of course paste that piece on or trace the thing to do it, but you can just eyeball it and get it close enough. It doesn't have to be exact. The next thing that I did was to take my envelope, and I actually undid it because it makes it easier when you're trying to cut it. Then you don't cut through two pieces, you only cut through one piece. And sometimes it needs a little pulling apart. It's going to tear the paper there, and I didn't really want it to do that, but it'll be all right. Okay, so that's how you do that, of course. And then I took the front of the envelope, and actually I turned my envelope inside out. Not that it matters, you can leave it right side out, but you do have to take it apart so that you'll have it just one side. And I'm going to trim that down a little bit because it's a little too tall for me. I don't want my basket. In fact, let's make it, well, no, that looks good. That looks like a good size. Then I took a regular ordinary pencil and I simply sketched lines, and I made parallel lines that you can do with a ruler if you are not feeling comfortable doing it with a pencil. And I made them about, that's about 3/8 of an inch or 1/2 inch apart, whatever feels right for you. They don't have to be totally parallel. They can be wonky like mine just turned out, because you can see that that's not quite parallel with that. But I basically made lines like this. And I started it with one in the corner that went across the corner like that. And then I took the next one and, you know, it would go across the corner like that. And I went this direction with my lines. The same thing. They don't have to be exactly the same size as the other ones, but if they are, it will look more regular and probably look a little more, I don't know, professionally done, or as if you bought it from somewhere rather than making it yourself. But if you don't make them perfect at this point, it's not going to really matter, because the next point's where it counts. And these are just guidelines for me to know where to do the basket weave. So here we have, I would darken in these and this and this, and then you would do 3 lines. You do 3 lines, and then you do 3 lines, 3 the other way, 3 squares. So 3 squares, 3 squares. And if you do that every time, you're going to come up with a basket weave pattern. And it's a simple basket weave pattern of 1 over, 1 under, under and over, under and over. You can do one whole set all the way across, 3 down through here. And as you see, I'm just kind of winging it. Sometimes it comes out perfect, sometimes it doesn't. Here, this one goes this way. And this way. And the more regular you do it, the more regular it's going to look. But I did not use a ruler on mine. I did it by hand so that it would look like it had the hand feel to it. So it wouldn't look too cut like, you know, like as if it had been cut with a die cut. Okay, so that goes like that, and there's one there, and that's pretty much, oops, one there. So you want to make sure it looks like a basket all the way. If it confuses you, you can erase all the extra lines now, the ones in between, so that you can see, you know, the straight run of this one under here, over there, or under there. Then all I did was to take my cutting board and to lay it under, open my paper out, lay it underneath, and I took my X-Acto knife, which I believe this is the sharp one, and I cut out all these little squares. So I just did 2 lines and then 2 lines. and cut out a little square there. Again, if they're not absolutely perfect, it's not going to really matter. Sometimes it's easier to just do the one whole row of squares cutouts. This little extra here I actually cut off on my other one, so I'll go ahead and cut it off so it's not confusing and not annoying me. And then we can do, you do all the ones going one way, and then you do all the ones going the other way. And just pop those little squares out as you go. And if you don't get them cut perfectly, when you first cut them, you can always go back and cut a little more at the corner if it's not coming out perfectly. Just, give it a little extra cut there. Okay, so I did that with the whole basket, and then what I'm going to do, and then I erased off all my pencil marks, because the pencil marks come off on your fingers. See my fingers turning black from the graphite, so that's annoying. So then what I'm going to do, you can see that this is turning out just like the other one, and let me go ahead and do one more row for you. And you can try to make these lines line up here. If you don't, it's no biggie. But you would do the whole thing, make the whole thing look like a grid, as I did on this other one. See? If we turn it over, you'll see how it looks exactly like the other one. Now what I'm going to do, I've erased all the pencil marks off of here, so I'm going to put the pencil marks back on, but this time with a colored pencil, and this time I'm going to do very lightly on the edges, but I'm going to give it a little bit of shadow there, so that as if this piece is coming out from under that piece. So I go a line here and a line here, give it a little shadow onto the little short part of it. Give it a line here, a little bit of shadow there, a little bit of shadow there, a little bit of shadow there. So if you think of making little rectangles with little shadowed ends, then it's going to look more like it's a woven basket. It's not woven, of course. It's just cut out to look like that. And when I let go of it and it goes up like that, then it looks even better, of course. And see how that's getting a three-dimensional look to it, because we've put that. Now another thing that you can do is you can highlight a little bit on the crossbars, and don't get this a little, too much, just enough to give it a little bit of highlight there. And you can see it's every other one, so it's this one, not this one, this one, not this one, this one. So this one, not this one. Okay, there's none up there. This one, not this one, this one. Okay, this one. Now that's going this direction. When you go the other direction, when you turn your basket, then you would go across this way with the other ones. Again, skipping every other one. And don't make this solid, just make it very sketchy, and it'll just give your eye a little bit of, oh, that's highlighted, that must be closer to me than the part that's darkened. So we'd give a little bit of shading here. Oops, not there. And see how that visually it makes this piece go underneath of this cross piece, and this cross piece, and over the top of this one and this one. Feel free to make a basket like this. It's easier to color this direction. Yeah. And if you kind of squint your eyes, you'll be able to see any places that you've missed. So I do that every now and then to check where I've missed, doing my overs and unders, making it look like it's going over and under. It might be just as easy to weave a basket, really, but you know, if you like it drawn, that's fine. Once again, if I were going to use this as a basket, as a pocket to make a basket full of flowers, I would go ahead and put a piece of acetate or vellum or something like that in it, in behind. Oops, come here. And behind this trellis looking thing, because if you don't, you're going to snag on it whenever you put if you put something in your pocket, it's going to snag it in those little holes. So I would get a piece of, I usually have some, and of course today I don't have any. Yes I do. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Nope. It's not there, it's over on the other side. So I'll go get a piece of acetate and show you how I do that. Easy peasy. This is the kind that comes that you can use through your printer, and it comes with it's attached to this. They used to print out things to do on overhead projectors, if you remember those. So I would just take my scissors, and I've got a little bit away from the edge here, and just cut that. I'm going to cut both the pieces of paper so that it makes it a little easier. And I cut it just shy of where the basket is. Then this piece is going to fit right down in there. And I would glue it to the front part so that it would stay against the front, and then you would go in behind that to put your flowers in the basket. And then of course you would glue down the bottom too. Of course you do have the little shiny there, so if you don't like that, get a piece of vellum and use it, or a piece of onion skin paper or whatever. You don't need to glue it all the way across, and this one's just a little bit too wide, and these scissors work a little better than those scissors do. So we'll cut it there. A little bit too tall on me. So you would just glue like each of these little pieces here, if you're doing this. Put a teeny bit of glue there, and in the corner. And then again on the bottom, same thing. You don't have to glue the whole thing down, just, completely when you glue that. And then you would glue the the edge here. So that it would be a pocket to put your beautiful flowers in. Oops. And if you have things happen like I just did with that flipping up, of course you want to give that a little extra glue so it does not flip up and tear on something else. Give it a few seconds to dry, and then you'll have a pocket. Lovely little pocket that anything can go into. Oh, look, it sticks out the side like as if it were a real basket. That's cute, huh? You'd even stick a flower in there. I wouldn't. Okay, so that's how you do this basket. And no, I didn't show it on my previous basket thing because I showed a whole bunch of them. This just wasn't one of them. I just did this afterwards because I was fiddling around while I was talking to the ladies in the Joy's chat room. So come in sometime and you might find something different there too. There's a basket. If you want a rim on it, just cut yourself a straight across piece of paper and, you know, glue that across the top. Not crookedy like this, just straight across. Like here's one. There we go. A rim for your basket. Because most baskets have a rim that kind of finishes the basket, the weaving. And there we have one. Gonna have to refold that a little bit to make it fit. And I would probably shade that too. I'd probably give it a little dark on the edges with my colored pencil. And perhaps a little highlight in the middle with my yellow pencil. See, that's not white, that's yellow. It's a light yellow, because then if it was white, your eye wouldn't look the same. And I like it better with the yellow. So there, it makes it look just a little more three-dimensional, even though it is totally two-dimensional. Totally, completely. Missed some shading there. I could see it, so I said, ooh, missed some shading. Fix it. And some there. Golly gee, I missed a bunch of them. Not really, just a couple. Okay, you can leave questions or comments after this if you like, and happy crafting. There you are. Thanks for watching. Bye.